The palace was quiet. A strange, heavy silence had fallen over the halls where laughter once echoed. The hurried footsteps of servants were gone, replaced by a careful, measured pace, as if the very air was afraid to disturb the fragile peace. The order had been carried out, and now everyone was left to live with the consequences. Queen Cinderella stood by the high windows of her chamber, staring out at a courtyard she no longer recognized. Someone had paid the ultimate price for a game played by kings and queens. She had known this was a possibility, a calculated risk, but she never imagined the pain would cut this deep. To the world, she was still the composed, regal queen. Her posture was perfect, her voice steady. But her eyes told a different story. They held a grief so profound she couldn't even name it, let alone mourn it. Power, she knew, didn't allow for tears. It demanded silence. Elsewhere in the palace, the slave boy felt the loss like a physical wound. A familiar voice, a steadying presence, had been ripped away without a word of warning or explanation. The empty space beside him was louder than any scream. He didn't cry. He didn't beg for answers. Instead, a cold resolve settled deep within him. The palace had taken something precious from him. It would never have his innocence again. The prince watched it all, a growing weight settling in his chest. This was no longer a game of strategy, a detached observation. A line had been crossed, and for the first time, he felt a profound shame for his silence. He had always believed that patience was a form of wisdom, but now it felt like complicity, like he had given his permission for this to happen. His gaze lingered on the queen, but this time, it wasn't with curiosity. It was with a dawning understanding. Something fundamental had shifted, not just in the palace, but inside him. The king addressed the court with chilling calmness. No excuses, no regret. Order, he declared, always carries a cost. This palace will endure it, as it always has. No one dared to argue. The silent acceptance was as cold as the stone walls around them. Among the servants, grief moved like a shadow in lowered heads and careful glances, where words were too dangerous to speak. In the suffocating stillness that followed, a new unspoken alliance began to form. The slave boy lifted his head, and for a fleeting moment, his eyes met the queen's across the courtyard. No words were exchanged. None were needed. A silent, unbreakable vow was made, a promise born not of rage, but of a quiet, unyielding certainty. Thanks for watching Fullest Tales. Like, subscribe, and share, because loss does not end stories, it reshapes them.